Hi crochet friends, welcome back, or if you're new here, I'm Mo, your crochet companion. Today we're actually going to be combining a chevron or ripple pattern and adding a bobble stitch to create a luxurious ripple scarf. So this project, it builds on the techniques from our chevron stitch and our bobbles video. So if you haven't already watched those, I would recommend watching those real quick and then coming back to this one. That way you can keep up with us. So you'll be feeling confident creating these gorgeous waves. And I'll even show you how to add tassels for a perfect finish. So as you can see, I've got the scarf here. I have not added the bobbles because I'm going to keep that as a surprise of what it looks like in the end. And I haven't created the tassels yet because I want to make that as a surprise so you can see it all together at the end. So as you can see, we've got a lot of texture, we've got a flow, it kind of looks like waves, it's elegant, and the tassels add a extra zing to it at the end. All right, so joke time. Why do tassels make good friends? Because they always hang around. Oh, good gosh. Anywho, so what are you going to need? You are going to need, I use the Lion brand homespun for this project. I actually have gotten 3 of this color just in case I didn't have enough of my white. But you will need to use a total of 3. I actually have a white color here as well. This is actually what I like to use for my bobbles to kind of have that nice contrast. It makes it look really pretty in the end. Obviously, we're going to need our scissors. And we are going to be using a size N or 9mm hook. And our yarn needle. You'll want to get a fatter needle because this is thicker yarn. So the size yarn, I would consider this medium to heavyweight. And you want something that has more of a brushed texture. Yes, it's a little bit trickier to work with, but I think at this point, if you have already been working with these stitches already, that's why I suggested doing the chevron stitch video or watching that and the bobble stitch. That way you have a little bit of practice before you get to this one, because you are going to be using a different kind of yarn that it does have a tendency to split, and you do snag your crochet hook if you don't do it right. All right, so that is all your, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. You have one more tool that you'll need. I don't have my cardboard made yet, but you're gonna make a nice heavy, find a heavy cardboard. You can, use the lip of a box or something. So it needs to be at least 3 inches wide. And then you'll want to make it as long as you want your tassels to be. So I'm kind of in the middle. I kind of like a longer, I don't like it short, but I don't really like it long either. So I'll be making mine before we get to that part in the tassels. So, all right, we'll see you in the next segment, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So grab your tools. If you need to, go ahead and watch those chevron and bobble stitches real quick. And then meet me back here, and we'll get started on our project. Here we go. First off, you know it. Gotta do a slip knot. Make sure you do it this way. Don't do it like you're gonna do a magic circle. All right, so this you're actually gonna want to do loosely because we're using a bigger hook and we're using a bulky thread. My bulky thread that I'm using has a tendency to split. So you definitely, if you decide to use the same thread or yarn, then I would recommend being, a little bit more loose on your chains, but not too loose, because if you do it too loose, then it looks, doesn't look very great. So We're going to start off with a chain of 34. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and 34. And you notice I didn't stop, talk, nothing like that, because this is the kind of yarn that if you stop counting, you're gonna lose your count. So we'll probably be doing a little less talking, a little more action today. So now we're gonna do the 4th chain from the hook. We're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're gonna do a decrease, I believe, or is it an increase? No, decrease. So we start off with a decrease. So we're going to yarn over, insert a hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through those 2. We're leaving those 2 strands on the hook. We're going to do that one more time. Yarn over, insert a hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So now we have 3 strands on our hook. Then we're going to yarn over, pull through 3. And in the next 5 chains, we're going to do a double crochet in each of those chains. So 1, oh, make sure I'm still in the shot. Yeah. 2, oh man, I actually did this a little too tight. Get that big old fat crochet hook in there. Oh my goodness. Let's keep trying this. Oh my. I'm so used to using those tiny ones for the thread and the filet crochet and the Irish lace, that these big ones, I'm a little more clumsy with these big ones. Okay, let's get in here into this last, is it the last stitch, or are we on number 4? Look at me losing track of my count. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 5. The next stitch we are actually going to do our increase. How our increase looks is we're doing 2 doubles in the same stitch. And then we do 1 chain and then another 2 doubles. So there's 2 doubles, 1 chain, and 2 more doubles. Then we'll do 5 more double crochets. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the next one, over the next 5 chains, we're going to do our decrease. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. So now we have 3 strands on our hook. We're going to yarn over, insert a hook, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we have 4. Yarn over, insert our hook, maybe. Yarn over, pull through 2. Now we have 5 on our hook. 1 more. Insert our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over. Now we're going to do the difficult thing and yarn over and pull through all 6 of those stitches, or all those yarn that were on our hook. Now the next 5 double crochets. And don't worry, I will demonstrate that again in round 2, so you'll be able to see it again. 2, 3, 4, and 5. We'll do another increase. So to remind you what the increase is, it is 2 double crochets, 1 chain, 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Double crochet, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, oof, and double crochet. Now for me, this material doesn't start moving smoothly until I get into multiple rows. Then it starts flying. Then we're going to do another DC in the next 5 chains. Maybe. I don't know why, it's just being a brat today. And as usual, a chain foundation is what? It's fiddly. There's 2, 3, and 4. And then in the next 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, yep, the next 3 chains, we're going to do a decrease. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert our hook in the next chain, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we have 3 strands on our hook. We're going to yarn over one more time and insert our hook again, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and we're going to pull through all 4 of those. There you go. That's what the last, or the first row of your project looks like. Pretty cool, huh? I absolutely love this. This is like one of my favorite projects that I've worked on. I have made so many of these. They are the softest, most comfortable, cozy scarves. I absolutely love these. Skipping on to round 2, okay? Round 2, we are actually, I got to remind myself if we're working in the back loops or front loops. Okay, we're starting off working in the back loops. So we're going to chain 2. And we're going to start with a decrease. So we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert our next stitch, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. So, whoops, let's try that again. Yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we have 2 strands on our hook. Yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. And I can't remember how many we're supposed to do on this one. Working back loops, beginning, decrease. It's been a minute since I've done this, so don't mind me. They're all 3 hoops. Okay. So it's just the 3 stitches. So this first chain 2 counts as your first one. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those hooks. Then, and remember, we're working in the back loops only. You're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to work 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets in this next chain space. So 1, 2, 1, 1, and 2. Do you need to see that again? We've got one more down here that we're going to do that again. So to keep going, we're going to do a double crochet in the back loops only in the next 5 stitches. Oh, I haven't gotten my thread warmed up yet. Seems silly like that, right? But yeah, for some reason when I break out the new yarn and a hook that I haven't warmed up yet in my hands, it just seems kind of a little fiddly. A little fiddly, like it doesn't quite slide just right yet. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to do a decrease in the next 5 stitches, all in the back loop. Okay, let's start this over because I remember that this is the only decrease that we have, so I want to go a little bit slower. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert our hook and the back loop only, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. So now we have 5 strands on our hook. Yarn over one more time, insert our hook, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through every last one of those 6 strands. There you have it. You've got another decrease. Now we're going to do 5 more double crochets. And sometimes I kind of have to, you know, snug it a little bit. I do that because I don't like this strand right here to be so big because it stretches out too much if it's too big. So I kind of tighten it up a little bit. Just like that. I don't always do that, but on that one big strand, you know, on the decrease, I do because otherwise the next round it will be too big, too loose, and it will look sloppy. All right, so we just did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to do another 2 double crochets, 1 chain, 2 double crochets in that next chain 1 space. The next 5 stitches, we're going to do a double crochet in the back loops only. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to do a decrease over the next 3 stitches. So yarn over, insert a hook, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to keep doing that over the next 3 stitches, and then we're going to end with pulling through. Except for that doesn't look quite right. Let's do that again. Pull up. Why is that not looking right? Yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 4 of those hoops. There we go. Now we're going to do one more row together, and then I will stop until I get to through 2 skeins of yarn. It usually takes about 3 skeins to complete this. One more row. Give me just a moment. Okay, round 3. So basically round 3, we're doing the exact same thing. We're going to chain 2. The only difference is that round 3, remember in one of the previous videos that I showed you how to do alternating back loop and front loop. So that's what we're going to do. We did a back loop only on the last row, and this row we're going to do it in the front loop. So we're going to do that in or decrease. Then we're going to do 5 double crochets working in the back loops only. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. We need one more, number 5. And we're going to do the same thing that we did. Uh-oh, something's not quite right. That's what it was. I didn't do an extra decrease. So I actually need to do, I need to have 4 loops on my hook when I do my decrease. So let's do one more in there. So when you do your decrease, you should have 4 loops on your hook, then chain through or pull through all 4. Then we do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you see that there is kind of a way to check yourself a little bit on when you're doing that. Next chain space, we're doing those 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets in that same space. And we're actually going to be, when I come back, we're actually going to be adding bobbles to this, so don't get too attached to that little peephole. That's my story and I'm sticking with it. And in the next 5 chains, or 5 stitches, we're going to do double crochet, 2, 3, and 4. One more, 5. We're doing a decrease over the next 5 stitches, so we'll have 6 strands on our hook. That's how I gauge it. I just look at my hook. How many do I have? Okay, 5. I need one more, so I have 6. And then we're gonna yarn over and pull through all 6 strands. Then we're back to 5 double crochets in the back loop. And we're going to do 2 deep double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets. And we're going to do 5 double crochets in the next 5 stitches. Well, not 5 in each stitch, but 1 double crochet in the next 5 stitches. Oh my, that would be an interesting looking piece of work. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the one thing that I really like with working with this yarn. I love that it's variegated and that it changes colors as I'm going. I love it. Now we're doing a decrease over the next 3 stitch. There we go, pulling through all 4 strands. And I'm going to double or chain 2 before I turn, but well, actually no, I'm not going to, because I wanted to show you once you run out of your yarn, I'm going to show you what I do when I'm switching my yarn. I actually take, so obviously you're going to go to another skein because I use 2 skeins of this yarn to make my scarf. Oh boy, what a memory today. I actually will go back through and take my hook and go back through all 4 of those chains, or the yarn that was on the hook. And I do this before I cut this thread. I take this, I go through all 4, and I go through this one as well. And then kind of tuck it over here to the side, make sure you grab the right strand, and then I'm going to do my chain 2. Then I will turn, and then I will cut this, and then pull it all the rest of the way through, weave that in. Most of the time, I actually, because this is a smaller, I'm not going to have as many ends, I actually will weave this in before I move on. But that's how I do my turn. So I would snip this, pull it out, and then weave it in. So we'll just say we weaved it in, and then I would keep on going. So that's how I add the next thread of yarn to that. But let's go ahead and take that back out, and I'm going to show you what this looks like on the other side. That's the fun part for me. We're going to do a chain 2 because I'm going to keep on going. Look at that. So you got 3 rows of the chevron or the ripple, whichever one you want to call it. This is a variation of this. This is such a versatile stitch. That's one of the things that I like about it. But when I come back, I will have my 2 skeins of yarn. If you want to do more, go ahead, go for it. You know, maybe throw out 3, make it the length that you want. And then when we come back, we're going to add our bobbles to this. And you're wondering how, but that's a secret. It's a secret. You got to come back back to find out. Well, how do we do the bobbles? Anywho, we'll be back in a little bit. It'll probably be a day for me, but just a short while for you. Okay, welcome back. As you can see, I've got a much bigger project that has been completed. So this is the full scarf. I have used 2 skeins of yarn for this scarf. And I actually have a 3rd skein here. Now, you can use the same exact color that you have here, but I personally love the contrast. Normally, I would do the same color in, or the same style yarn in the same style yarn, just in a slightly lighter color or in a cream color. I actually still have this white, so I'm going to use this white. What we are doing now is we are going to create some excitement on this scarf, and I don't know if I've said it or not already, but this is absolutely one of my favorite scarves. I have made so many of these. It's unbelievable how many I've made of these. So for me today, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using this white color. It's called Hippo White. I don't even know if they make this color anymore, but I still had some from a previous project, probably another scarf that I had done, but let's get into it. So we're going to be doing bobbles. Well, this particular panel calls them clusters, but this is a form of a bobble. Let me find my hook. All right, so what we're doing is, you see these rows of, you kind of have an open spot, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to be working on the bottom and the top of those spots. So on each row. So let's get started. We're going to, this is how I add my yarn to it. So I'm going to take my yarn, insert my hook. I've got my yarn on my one side. I'm going to take and pull that up, and I'm going to create a slip stitch or a chain. Now, the pattern calls for 3 chains. So we're going to chain 3, and then working over this yarn, we're going to work over that yarn. We're going to yarn over twice. We're going to insert our hook into this first space that we're working in. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we're kind of doing a treble. We're going to yarn over twice. We're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to do that again until we have 5 loops on our hook. So we're going to yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over twice, insert, pull it up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now I have 5 loops on my hook, right? I gotta throw that on the ground, it's in the way. Now we're going to yarn over one more time, and we're going to pull through all 5 of those loops, creating our bobble. Now, this is kind of the tricky part. Let me get a little bit closer. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to that row up one, and we're going to insert our hook into that. And we're going to pull a loop up, and we're going to do a slip stitch. We'll get plenty of practice, so we're going to keep on going. So I'm going to do a chain of 3. So that's going to count as your first double crochet, or excuse me, your first treble crochet. We're having some video issues here, I'm sorry. All right, first treble crochet. So we're going to yarn over twice, because that's a treble. Insert our hook, pull up, insert a hook, or excuse me, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now we have 2 on our hook. Yarn over twice, insert a hook, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, we're going to do yarn over twice, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Do that one more time, a little bit faster. And I'm getting too tight, so I gotta give myself a little extra yarn leeway there. Okay, so now we're gonna yarn over, pull through all 5 loops. We're gonna kind of set that to the right a little bit, and we're gonna insert our hook into the next stitch up. We're going to do a slip stitch, effectively creating your bobble. And in this case, they call it a cluster. We're going to keep doing that on every row until we get to the end of the row. So I'm going to do a couple more here while you're watching. I just got done recording my filet crochet, so going from the little teeny tiny hook to the big fat hook, ugh, that's a learning curve. It feels weird. Okay, so I've got 5 on my hook. We're going to pull through all 5. We're going to push that to the side a little bit, insert our hook, do our slip stitch. All right, keep going. Couple more, and then I'm going to pause and finish up both sides. So you're going to do it on both sides. So you're going to do, well, 2. So you're going to do 1 on this row, and you're going to do 1 on this row. Okay, there's 5. Stick, pull through all 5. Grab that next row. Slip stitch. And then I'm going to do 1 more here on camera, and then I'll finish it up and come back. And as you can see, I kind of bunched it up a little bit so I could get a better grip there. This yarn's just not cooperating with me. Okay, so there's 4. And here is 5. Scoop through all of those, and then we're going to slip stitch on the next one. There we go. Now you'll, if you haven't already figured out that this is it, like, because of the texture of it, you can easily get snagged on that yarn. So I'm sure you've already figured out you got to be careful and very patient with the yarn, because it is its own little beast. But there you go. So there's the basic idea. And we're going to just keep on going until we get to the end, okay? All right, we'll see you back here in a little bit. All right, we're back. So if you have gotten to the same spot that I am, you should have 2 rows of bobble stitches along with your beautiful chevron stitch. Oh, this is actually one of my favorite projects. So all right, so now we're going to get on to the tassels. I've actually done 3 of the 4 tassels, and this particular tassel is probably the most time-consuming tassel I've ever done. And I'll explain to you why here in a minute, but we're going to go ahead and get going. I'm going to move this aside until we're ready for it. So we're going to get a piece of cardboard, and I just found some random thing that I had that was a nice thick cardboard, and the instructions suggested a 3-inch. I actually wound up doing a 4-inch by 4-inch. You can do a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. I actually recommend having the length maybe 6 inches instead of 4 inches. Although the tassels are cute this length, we do have to put knots on the end, and so I found that the 4 inches was just a little bit short for putting that knot in, but I made it work, so you can go ahead and do the same thing if you want to. So in the meantime, I actually made, so for these tassels you need 4 tassels, so you want to make 8 strips of I did mine 4 inches. I would recommend probably either doing 6-inch strips or 8-inch strips. And then once you have 8, go ahead and pause the video. Come back when you have 8 of those ready. I'm going to keep going, but you can pause it here. All right, continuing on, what we're going to do is we're going to wrap our yarn around this. I always like to give myself a little bit of a tail, but we're just going to wrap around about 20 times. So there's, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. My yarn got stuck here. All right, there's 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Now that you got 20, what we're going to do is we're going to cut the one end. Doesn't have to be perfect. We'll line it up later. We're going to take one of our ties, and this is going to be a challenge for me doing this, but we're going to do it on camera here. So we're going to take one of the ties, you're going to scooch it underneath all those and go up to the top. Okay, get all the way up there. We're going to tie a knot at the top. And pretty soon you'll figure out why it is that this is the most time-consuming part. As you can see, my yarn is starting to fray, and that's the problem that we have with this particular yarn. So be very careful. Don't try to touch it too much, because otherwise you're going to have even bigger problems. All right, now that you have this tied at the top, we're going to go to the bottom, and we're going to snip your scissors as close to the edge as you can. Oh, there we go. We're going to carefully remove it from the cardboard. We're going to lay it down flat, but I'm going to grab my other thing of yarn, and I'm going to set my thing. I'm going to get it nice and flat there. I'm going to set it down, and I'm going to tie a knot around that edge. I kind of want to, there we go. It doesn't have to be perfect, because this is your work. I do like to kind of gauge it to kind of almost look like the same size as the bobbles were. And then obviously we're going to do a nice tight knot. And then we're going to take our scissors, careful not to cut into this part. We're just cutting the edge there. If you do a longer edge, you can actually just leave it and line it up with the rest of your tassels there. But I didn't do mine long enough. So there's that. Okay, now that we've done that, what we're going to do is I'm going to get those two stragglers there. We're going to snip those off. We'll go ahead and even this up a little bit, just like so. There we go. Now we're going to pull this one tassel that's left, and we're going to pull this to our video here. And where did I put my needle? Okay, well, I found my needle. Okay, so sorry, I gotta rearrange this a little bit better so it's not falling off my table here. All right, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna do this with my fingers, but you can use like a crochet hook, and so we're gonna take our threads. I'm going to take one, I'm going to wrap it around here, and I'm going to take the other one and wrap it around to the opposite side. Except for, look at this, this is like starting to fray so bad. That's the only thing I don't like about this particular type of yarn. It frays too easily. So we're going to do that, and we're going to do that, and then I'm going to make sure that I go underneath that so that we can create a knot. All right, there we go. We got a knot there. I'm going to take the other one. I'm sorry, I can't do a very good visual on this one just because it's back behind the knot. But I'm going to pull that knot to the other side here. After pulling that knot to that side, we're going to go up under. I'm going to create that second knot. That way we have that knot back behind. Now here we can roll our yarns into one. I'm going to roll it up, and I'm going to take my needle. This is where it kind of gets a little tricky. So what I'm going to do is where I'm going to put my thread to thread it and hide the weave in the end, I'm going to put my needle because I've got a very short end. For you, that's why I said make yourself a nice longer end so you won't have to do it this way. I'm going to thread my needle, and I'm going to pull it through because we're going to hide those ends. This also gives it a little bit more security so that that tassel stays on. Okay, we're going to do the same thing again. So I want to make sure that I have it so that I can weave it back the other way. Roll that up a little bit so that I can thread it through my needle again. All right, there we go. And we're going to go back through the other side. Well, that's probably what happened to my last needle. It just went zipping across my room. Okay, now we're going to cut that end. Make sure you don't cut too close so that you don't cut your work. That would be a crying, literally a crying shame. Okay, so now, since we still have this one from when we did the bobbles, we crocheted the bobbles on, I'm going to go ahead and use this as a reinforcement to keep that tassel on. So I'm going to take this. Oh, you know what? I just realized that's why I'm not as bright. There we go. That made a whole lot of difference. I am so sorry, y'all. I didn't realize I didn't have my light on. Okay, so to get that a little bit more secure, we're going to go ahead and weave that through the tassel. Then I'm going to weave it up around this part just to give it that a little more security. And just weave that through here. And then we're going to take that one more time and weave it through here. And weave it up. And then we're going to go back. Actually, I think I'm going to go up under in the back so you can't see my thread. And we'll cut off that yarn piece right there, and voila. All right, so the last part, and this is the part that's going to be the most time consuming. And this is because we don't want these ends to fray, because if we just leave them the way they are, they're going to fray and it's going to look tacky. So what I do is I take and I knot each one of these ends so it keeps it from fraying further. How I do that, I take my yarn, wrap it around my finger, I use my hook, go back through here, zip it up, And then we just work that knot all the way down loose until we get to the edge, and then tie it tight. And I do that on every last strand. So there's about 40 strands. So it's gonna take you a minute to do all of those. So what I do is I just push the strands that I've knotted over to the side, so I know that those are the ones that I've done. I mean, obviously, if you got a knot on the end, you know that you already did it, but I just find it a lot easier to do it that way. And that's how I do it. Okay, so since my light was out for part of that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of go over a little bit of what I did in the dark. Oh boy. It looked like you guys could see most of it, but obviously I've got better light now. For that, I do apologize. That was crazy. I was sitting there going, why does it seems like it's so dark? Duh. You got to turn your light on. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and finish tying up those knots, and we're going to go over that information one more time so that you guys can see it in the light, okay? Okay, got all those knots done, so that's what it looks like in the end. That's so pretty, right? So I'm going to go over that one more time with you. I'm going to set that aside. We're going to go over that cardboard piece again. So we're just going to take our cardboard. Actually, I'm going to cut a couple pieces here. So we need 2 pieces of yarn. So we're going to set those aside. Now we're going to take our cardboard. We're going to wrap our tassel 20 times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Gonna leave a little bit of a tail. And y'all, I'm not even kidding. I was playing chicken with that. This is what I have left of that one skein of yarn. So you will use all 3 of those skeins of yarn. All right, let's take our tassel. We're gonna take our one of our yarn pieces that we cut earlier. Stick that underneath there, all the way under. Gonna pull it to the top. Make a knot. And a nice knot secure. We're going to go to the bottom here. We're going to cut our yarn pieces all the way to the edge. Probably should have picked some better scissors for this particular, but that's okay. They worked in a pinch. Now we're going to get this nice and even. Whoops, I think I might have snagged one and moved it. Yep, there we go. Trying to make that nice and even. Gonna set that over this yarn piece about where we want it. Looks about right there. Put a knot right there. Nice and secure. Another knot. Boom. All right, so I actually made those long enough where I could make them part of the tassel. Then I wouldn't have to cut those off. We just cut them off so that they're about the same length as the rest of it. We want to just kind of make it a little bit more even. I mean, obviously it's a tassel, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but I like to have it at least kind of sort of even. Set those pieces aside. Now let's bring this up. Even though I've got a tassel there, I'm going to still show you kind of what you would have needed to do in the light. So you would have taken one piece on this side and one piece on this side, thread them through. I always like to go up underneath that first bobble so I can do it that way. You can also use your needle as well. Make sure that you're making a knot underneath and then tightening it up, and then you're going to make another knot behind there and then take your needle and weave the ends in. I'm not going to do that now because that'll look funny having two tassels on one thing. Let me spread that out so it looks a little bit like it's supposed to be again. There we go. Another project fully complete. How do you guys feel? On a scale of 10, what kind of project did you feel like this was? Did you want more like this or less like this? How do you feel completing your project? Maybe leave a comment for me so I know what kind of projects you want to do in the future. If this was just right up your alley, let me know. If not, let me know. No big deal. That helps me understand what I need to do more in the future of. If you're new here, don't forget to check out my Chevron Stitch and the Bobbles videos. That will be the highlight for this one. It helps you understand how to do this project a little bit better. And in the future, I'm still working on ideas for our next crochet project. In the meantime, go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss out. And thanks for crocheting with me today. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and can't wait to see your finished Ripple scarves. Happy crocheting!